It says we are now live, man.
Hey,
Let me
been
flip
a
on
minute.
over to Instagram. Make sure we live there. Okay, cool. It looks like we're good to go there on Instagram. Um, so yeah, bro, here we are again, right? This is
Yeah, a whole year.
a whole year later, man. Another wrap up of a year in review, right?
Yeah,
So, man, a lot has happened since the last time we were here, you know?
yeah,
Uh, and I'm smiling, laughing, bro, just a little bit because I don't know if you saw like maybe a week or two ago, I posted our 2023, year in review video, right? And I was
yeah,
just thinking about, man, just we shot that at the old Airbnb, right? I've transitioned out of that business. We were there setting up, that stuff was cool. Bro, I had no idea that my wife was pregnant at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, so a lot of stuff has happened, man, over the year. But the most important thing, which is the biggest blessing, man, is that we're able to be here, today having this
yeah,
conversation again, sharing our thoughts and reflections, an entire year later. So, yeah, here we are.
yeah, man.
Mm.
1 second.
Um,
Yeah, man.
okay, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I had to
Okay.
switch something up on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
but nah, man. Yeah, man. Like like this. I guess it's true what they say. The older you get, the more time just moves, like almost like with the blink of an eye. Because literally,
yeah,
it feel like it was just last year.
yeah,
And this year went by so fast, and even in like I feel like it went by fast, but so much has happened in this year. I know for me personally, man, a lot of things and a lot of great things, personal growth, um just uh just a lot of self-evaluation, and like just really, I don't know, man. I just feel like, man, like life is a beautiful thing, man. And
mm,
I got to 2024 was a year of gratitude for me to be able to look back at my life, look forward in my life, and look where I'm at presently, and just be grateful and content with where I'm at. And yeah, man, I just learned to be present in
yeah,
2024. Not living in the past, not living too much in the future, but like just taking every moment and just like embracing the now. And that's what 2024 has taught me. And man, to see us here now, a year later, with like you said, so many things has changed and
change.
transpired.
Yeah,
The ultimate blessing is like literally being here, because a lot of people ain't here. You know,
no,
and we're here. And I don't say that as if like we lucky or anything like that, because my heart is out to those who we lost in 2024. But it is a blessing to still be here and still be breathing. So
for
I'm just
sure.
excited, man, for this year, and what's to come.
No, absolutely. And one of the things that you mentioned that you talked about was what your 2024 was like for you, right? So, like, I guess like that one word. And I guess I would say for me, 2024 was a year of being uncomfortable, right? And I say uncomfortable from the standpoint of there was a lot of changes going on. So, ended up transitioning into a different business venture, right? Diving deeper into the mortgage and finance industry, right? That was different, right? Being familiar with credit, funding, and finance, right? Having those transferable skills, but actually coming in and establishing and building that business, kind of starting from scratch to a certain degree, being new again at something, right? Having to ask questions and like that was a new space for me to be in. When you coming from these spaces where you demand, you got the answers, like you got it, to being in a position of where, okay, hey, there's a lot for me to learn, right? I have to stretch myself, I have to grow in this space. And not only that, but man, real estate for us as well, right? We this year we added 5 more doors to our real estate portfolio. And we just, man, just learning how to deal with man, just different contractors and heavy major projects, right? We got projects where we're doing over, 150,000, almost $200,000 worth of work, right? In some of these rehabs, and I'm doing architectural designs and collaborating with engineers and state forms. It's just a lot of like big boy type stuff that I'm having to grow and learn through right this year, right? Man, having I got 3 kids now, right? So having that third child, like being a father again for, you know, the third time. And bro, like it's crazy because every couple years, like parenting or the rules or the dynamics change. Like when my daughter was first born, oh, you can, you can give the babies water, but then when my son came, oh no, don't give them water, or you can't sleep in a crib like this. They could just die immediately, or it's just all these different quirks and stuff you got to learn. So even relearning, fatherhood and stuff again. Let me see. So I guess without going into everything right now in this moment, man, I think 2024 for me was a year of being like uncomfortable, and being okay with that, bro. Like, to be quite honest, like just embracing these spaces and places of being uncomfortable, and leaning in so I can truly thrive and be a better person, um at the other side of it.
Okay. So what would you say with 2024 was probably the most unexpected lesson? I know you kind of just went into just
Yeah.
being uncomfortable, but from that, what was probably like the most, like the far left thing you would have thought that you needed to learn about in 2024 that you learned about?
Man, the far left thing, dude, I think there are several, I guess, themes, right? And it's kind of hard for me to pick one over the other. But one of the things that I've learned, like I can't want things more for people than they want it for themselves, whether that's family, whether that's clients that I'm working with. I found myself often getting so worked up or so invested in people's result or their life or what will happen if they don't do X, Y, and Z, that it would kind of start to affect me. Like I'd be in bed, talking to my wife, and I'm like, man, what's wrong with people? Why do they think like this? Or why do they, do this? And I couldn't carry that weight, right? Like that was taking up too much capacity and mental space for me to be able to do other things, to be more productive, to continue to learn more, to continue to add value for people who truly are ready, instead of trying to bring everybody else along, right? Or wake everybody else up. So I guess for me, it's the thing is that, everybody's not where you are. Everyone doesn't perceive or is going to view the world or value the things that you may value, or that you may put a premium on. Doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means that they're not there yet, and I shouldn't necessarily spend that time trying to, bring certain people along, or upgrade certain people who aren't ready. So I think that's one thing, man, from a personal standpoint and a business standpoint that I've learned. Like I gotta let go sometime.
For me, man, I would say the biggest lesson that I learned was literally, and this might sound cliche, but literally to trust God.
Okay.
Um, it's one of the hardest things about being like gifted and talented is your ability to make things happen. Like that's like one of the biggest stumbling blocks when it comes to like trusting God, is because you can kind of see, okay, if I put A and B together, it'll give me C, so I can do this.
Right. It's
But like
pragmatic. Yeah.
this year was like a year like, hey Tommy, take your hands off of it and let me do it. And that was the one of the biggest challenges. It was a challenge at first, but the more I settled into that, man, the more my life just started to like just flow in like this natural progression of like just things happening the way that they're supposed to happen, and things starting to line up, job opportunities, gig opportunities, my relationship with my kids, my relationship with my family, my relationships with other people, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to control things and like legit just letting go. That has been the greatest lesson that I learned this year, man. Just literally just trusting God and let him do it, man. Stop trying to figure it out. I've said to myself, and I say this all the time, the moment that I know how it's going to end, or the moment that I figure it out, is the moment that I know that I'm not moving at the speed of God. So I need to like just let go, let God, trust the process. Of course, do the proper things that I need to do to make sure I ain't messing nothing up. But at the
Right.
same time, taking my hands off of it and allowing God to move at his speed and how he wants things done. So that was the biggest lesson that I learned this year, man. And it's a beautiful thing because, man, since doing that, man, I can't tell you some of the people that I've gotten connected to because of this. Some of the habits that I broke because of this. Like, bro, there were things that I struggled with, and like I would struggle with these things because I would say, okay, Tommy, you can beat this. Tommy, you can stop doing this. Tommy, you can manage this or whatever. And I was trying to do it in my own strength. But the moment I like just like,
Yeah.
okay, God, look, if this gonna happen, like you need to do it. It became that much easier to let things go, to drop things off, to cut off relationships, to cut off talking to people, to cut off bad habits, bad coping mechanisms,
Yeah.
bad financial spend, like different things. Like the moment that I like really trusted God, everything just started flowing, and life became, and I don't want to say it like this, but man, my life been pretty easy
Yeah.
the last few months, man. Just trusting God and like just allowing Him to take me through the process.
No, bro. And I think another thing I want to add to that, right? I guess a lesson that I've learned and I'm learning, right? Like I think some lessons are continuous and lifelong. In addition to trusting God, right? Is like, bro, I feel like sometimes God is only going to speak to you or give you the vision. So to the point to where when you try to go to get validation from other people, or you're seeking for confirmation on something that God told you, like, you may not get that response that you're looking for. Now you got confusion coming in. Now you got self-doubt in because, man, okay, I feel like God told me to do this, but I asked somebody else about it and they said, no, that's not a good idea. Or maybe that's something that you probably shouldn't be doing. And I believe that there are some times to where God is speaking to you and directly to you, and you have to trust what He's saying and execute and move on it. This isn't one of those things where, okay, hey, well, I need to let me talk to some other people and figure it out. Like, too, like, not like, yo, God told you to move, do this. Yeah, maybe unconventional, maybe uncomfortable, but this is what you're supposed to do. This is where you're supposed to be. Now, let me say this with a caveat. This does not exclude like wise counsel or wisdom. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, I'm saying that sometimes when you are told to move or do certain things, from God, it's communicated directly to you. Other family, other friends, other people, your parents, they're not gonna see the vision. So when you present it to them and you wonder why they shooting down my dreams and my goals, or why I'm not being supported, because it was given to you specifically. So I just wanted to add that to that as well.
Yeah, and just even speaking to like that uncomfortable piece, bro. A lot of people when they feel uncomfortable, they want to get comfortable. Like, okay, something they in their mind, their response to uncomfortable is, okay, something ain't right, or I'm doing something wrong, or this ain't it. Let me try to fix this. And that's their natural response. But like we gotta look at uncomfortability from a different perspective, right? The analogy that I would give is like, um, if I buy my son a shoe, my son he's 13 now, right? Um, get his shoe, he wears size 6. In 2 years, he's not gonna be able to fit that shoe,
Right.
right? The shoe's gonna get uncomfortable, it's gonna hurt. That don't mean that the shoe is bad. That just means that you got to figure out something else. Like something else is something. You got something has to change or whatever. And a lot of times we look at our situations when we're uncomfortable. Like, okay, I'm doing something wrong, or this. Sometimes God has you uncomfortable just to kind of just so you can like let go of like trying to control everything. Let
Yeah.
go of trying to. It's like, okay, I got you uncomfortable because now you know and you understand that you can't control none of this. Like no
Yeah.
matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you're gonna be in a space. Now you have to trust me. And now at moments where I feel uncomfortable, I don't blame the devil. I don't get mad, or I just look at, okay, God, what is it that you want from me right now in this moment? Because I wanna get through this. You ain't got to take me out of it, get me through it or whatever. And that's what 2024 has been, man. A season of just like you said, being uncomfortable, learning from it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just moving in a way that like just progressively takes you to the next space. I would say that, man, 2024 has been both the greatest year of my life and the hardest year of my life.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change it for nothing. The way that my year started out versus how my year ended, man, I couldn't wrote a better script. And I just like, man, like God is dope.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that life is, man. Life has its ups and downs, man. everybody is going to experience life at some point in time. You're going to be hit with something hard. You're going to be hit with something
Right.
devastating. You're going to lose a loved one. You're going to lose a job. You're going to miss out on money. A bill not going to get paid. You're going to get sick. Something is going to happen that's going to knock you off your square. That does not mean that life is bad. That's just the natural progression of the
That's
human
progression.
experience. And when one of the things that I learned to do is just accept that. This doesn't mean that, I'm just out here making bad choices. Although you can make bad choices to put you in bad situations, but just because bad things are happening, that doesn't mean like you doing something wrong or somebody attacking you or this. That's just life. That's just the way that life is. And our job is to figure out how to navigate this, figure out what we need to learn from this so that we can process whatever it is that we need to process and move forward so that the next time we come through this stage where life is kind of, okay, I'm at that stage again, life is getting crazy. The last time I was here, I did X, A, B, and C, and that's how I got through it. That's really the human experience. Trials and tribulations, because life ain't gonna always be beautiful. Life ain't gonna always be peachy. But the one thing that we gotta secure is our faith that like everything is eventually gonna be all right. And that's how I've been living my 2024. When I'm hit with something hard, I tell myself, all right, Tommy, it's gonna be all right. Just
Yeah.
keep moving forward. Don't stop. Don't get stuck in it. Don't get in your feelings. Don't react. Don't respond. Just keep going forward. Everything will work itself out. And when I start moving like that, everything just start piecing itself together.
Yeah. And you said a lot there, man. And I want to shift gears a little bit. We talked about challenges in 2024. I want to talk about parenting, right? You mentioned fatherhood. Um, and I want to talk about parenting a little bit because I want to share I want to share a little bit because bro, this past year was a different season for me. So let me give just more context. Like, bro, never more than ever have I been, I guess, excited, nervous, challenged, blessed. Feel like I've been bestowed upon, like, bro, like the privilege to be a father, right? Like, I think that's so cool to me. And bro, being, coming up playing sports and stuff like that, bro. I look at um parenting almost like I'm a football coach, right? So I'm up in the press box. I got my kids, like we all on offense, and I'm trying to see, what I need to do to set them up to be successful, so we can score a touchdown, right? Like how do I have to build you up with confidence, right? How do I have to help you, navigating certain things, socially with school, homework, whatever. Like I want to make you the best product possible, right? I see what the defense is giving us, right? So now I got to call plays. We got to do practice stuff to help get you in position so we can score a touchdown, right? So that's kind of how I view fatherhood. And one of the things that you talked about is like, taking control over it, trusting God. Like this year, bro, kids is in summer. Typically they go to summer school, right? My kids are in private school. It's a good foundation. I'm not gonna say a bubble, but to a certain degree, it's a bubble, right? Like I look at what maybe some of what my other peers or other people's kids are like exposed to, and man, like bro, like my kids aren't exposed to that. Like I have a different methodology and mindset when it comes to raising my kids. Like my kids don't have phones, they're not on TikTok, they're not. It's just I got a different method to the madness of how I'm trying to raise the kids. And then this year, and I know we talked, bro, this summer, I had to put my kids in a summer school program at the Boys and Girls Club. Now, some of y'all might be like, man, you had to put your kids in the Boys and Girls Club. Like, if you guys know me, y'all know I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, East Chicago. That's where we spent summers, like for years, even when school was going on. Like that was like the after school, program. And but for my kids, man, like they're just this time is different. They're like it's socially it's a different time, right? So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, man, all right, my kids they go to a Christian school, not to say that they aren't exposed to certain things at the school, but it's just not at the magnitude that you may get being in other places, right? And so I was like, man, okay, I got to take my kids to this summer program, right? And then Tommy, he actually happened to be a director over the program, so it was a little bit of like yeah, I had some training wheels or some bumpers kind of put up in place, right? So, just being able to have, trusting God, having the confidence, like, okay, all right, God, like I'm finna send my kids out here to, this program. They're gonna be around other kids, they're gonna be cool, they're gonna be safe, they're gonna get to learn, they're gonna get to play. It's a part of their maturation as young young men and young women coming up, right? To learn how to connect and be around different people, right? So I think for me, that was like a little bit of like letting go, right? Used to having control over everything, but to be like, all right, man, I'm about to let your kids go to Gen Population, the Boys and Girls Club. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I joke, I jokingly say that, but it was it was an adjustment for us because we were putting our kids somewhere else uh where we weren't used to sending them, right? And so and even in that, right? Like Tommy, you laughing, like, bro, I think the first field trip they went on or something, my son, he lost his money or something like that. Like somebody stole his money. Then like a couple days later, like he done ran in, he got his eye was cut up. Like I was like, dog, I'm sending my kids to the wolves there because they stealing their money, they
Is
getting
that
hurt.
is that
You know
scar
what
still
I mean?
there?
Huh?
Is that scar still there?
No, it's faded, man. He good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
was worried. I was like, man, when it happened, I was like, God, dog.
right, right. So yeah, but that was like, that I was like, man, okay, an adjustment period. But so that was kind of like my journey, my story of adjustment. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, but why don't you
Yeah,
just
man. Listen,
yeah,
man. I got a teenage boy now. Like that in itself was an adjustment, man. Like, and
yeah,
I truly had to go back to my parents and like apologize to them because I had like, mom, was we like this
yeah,
when we was turning teenagers? Like, yep,
yeah,
this is exactly what it's just the way the teenagers are, man. Like thinking they know everything, and this like, it's been so many moments I just wanted to like, hey, man, like, because I don't whoop my kids, but man, it
yeah,
was it was trying it was trying, and me and my son was butting heads a lot, and we had to get to the point where we had to have a conversation and talk through some stuff or whatever. So if I'm being completely honest, man, this was probably one of the most fearful years of my life as a parent. I had to
yeah,
question a lot, like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I setting my kids up for failure or success? Like, am I doing a good job as a father? Like, how is this gonna impact him when he get older? Is he gonna
right,
struggle with self-esteem? Is he gonna struggle with this? Is he gonna struggle with that? And like, I was questioning myself a lot this year. It was moments where I felt like I was failing as a father, and
mm,
there were moments where I felt like I was doing good, but like, man, this year has been the most roller coaster year. With my son transitioning into being a teenager, man. So, it was challenging. One of the highlights I would say is when I had to have that birds and bees conversation with my son.
man.
That
Oh,
was
very
one,
good.
and thank God my brother was in town because we kind of had that conversation with him together. But man, to be able to sit down, that was a moment where I felt proud as a father to be
Yeah,
able to talk about sex, talk about women, talk about what those different things lead to, pornography, all of the other stuff with
yeah,
my son, and it not be a weird conversation.
yeah,
um Realizing that, it actually made me look back at my life and like think back on, man, where was I getting my information from at that age? Like, they was steering me the wrong way, you know. And now, hey, what up, boy?
yeah. I got a visitor here.
Yeah, so like I said, man, my son becoming a teenager, man, his birthday just passed, man. This year has probably been the most challenging year, as a parent, like especially dealing with me being a single father and my kids coming from a divorced family, and dealing with the other side, of parenting, and dealing with a co-parent, and when y'all butt heads on parenting styles and stuff like that, it was challenging, man. Like, I'm thinking, like, man, what will my children become? And one of my friends told me, he said, man, he said, at the end of the day, your kids gonna remember how you were as a father. Your role in their life is the most important role that they'll have. You're setting the tone. You're setting the standard of what they need to accept, what they need to not accept. Just the way that they need to move their mindset and things like that. So, I really was getting intentional with spending time talking with them, like showing them, like even when I would make mistakes, showing them, hey, listen, I did this. This is the outcome of that. I shouldn't have did this. Letting them see my human side, so that they don't think that, if ever they're faced with a struggle, like, man, it's just me. Like, nah, your dad had that struggle too. So this year has been like I said, the most challenging and rewarding year as a father. And as 2024 comes to a close, man, I can't tell you how proud I am of my children, how proud I am of our relationship and how it's grown, and just looking forward to the next level and the next steps of what's to come. Because I still got my daughter. She gonna be a teenager soon, and I don't think I'm ready for that. Like that
Yeah.
test, I don't know if I'm gonna pass. My
Yeah.
son, but man, my daughter, man, when she gets to being a teenager, that's gonna be another hurdle I'm gonna have to get over, man. Hopefully, she's surrounded with positive women that can, teach her. I'm a teacher. Like I'm tell her avoid, I'm telling her what to avoid when it comes to doing. I'm trying to be the best man I can be so that she can have a point of reference of what a man is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I'll just, I try to surround her with positive women, women that got a good head on their shoulders, women that are good examples of what it means to be, mothers, what it means to be women, what it means to like have respect for your body and stuff like that. So, like I said, parenting is a challenge. The biggest challenge in parenting that I've experienced this year was like to realize, hey, you're not gonna always be their number one go-to person. You're gonna have to relinquish some of that. Somebody else gonna have influence in their life. You're not gonna always be the most influential person in your child's life, and you got to embrace that. So there's been moments where other people have stepped in where I was like, man, no, I'm dad. I could teach them that, to where I had to be like, you know what? They'll probably receive it better from them. Let me take my hands off and let them build that bond that way or whatever. So that has been a challenge for me. So like just this, like I said, this year, man, is really pushed all the buttons to. I would
Right.
say this. I feel like this year was a year where God was like, all that stuff you talk about, the self help, the healing, all that theoretical stuff you talk about. This is the year to put it to the test, and that's really what I experienced this year. All of the stuff that I had theoretically, it was like, okay, now you got to run the test of that so that you can truly say, hey, this stuff works.
And you said a lot there too, man. And I think from uh man, just a fatherhood perspective, one of the challenges, right? Because parenting isn't easy, right? You can read books and go through as much stuff as you can, but each child is different, right? I know
Yes.
for me, my kids they're 6 and 8 right now, and then we started over with with JJ here, but I think now my kids are to the age of it's not like a dictatorship anymore per se, where you just go do this, go do that. Like I mean, this I still of course give direction, but now the of course minds are developing. They have questions. They want us like, what's the why? But why shouldn't I do X, Y, and Z? Right? Like, what's the Can you explain that a little bit further? Right? Like, this is kind of and especially the type of parent that I want to be. I want to move beyond the because I said so.
Yeah.
Right? Like because like now, okay, let me. This is a young mind. This is being inquisitive, learning. Let me foster this environment. There's no disrespect in this moment, and I don't have to, verbally chop the kid down. But just let me. Okay, how can I articulate this to give clarity and understanding of what dad is asking for, what dad is trying to teach in this moment, or why we should be doing X, Y, and Z, or whatever, right? Like I really want to take a different approach in these foundational years, bro, because I want to address stuff now. So I'm not having to try to address it or fix it as a team per se, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I want to set a solid of a foundation. Of course, nobody's perfect. There's yeah, as a parent, kids evolve, but I want to do a better job of um kind of meeting them where they are with certain things, right? And giving the why, the context to why we do or how I parent, so on and so forth, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I was watching an interview, and it made so much sense. In our generation, that's what it was. We couldn't question our parents. Well, why we got to do this? Why we got it was anytime we question, it was a sign of disrespect. And he was saying, like, man, that's not disrespectful. You're teaching your kids to be self thinkers,
yeah,
because if you spend your time telling your kids because I say so, they're going to easily just go with the flow with anybody else tell them what to do. Like when they get older, they're not going to have that ability to challenge like stuff that don't sit right with them.
right,
It's like, hey, I don't think we should do that.
yeah,
If we don't teach them, it's okay to question, because you need to question. Well, why? I actually had that with my son, because hit one of the questions like, man, you treat London different than me. Like you treat her different. You go easier on her. And
Yeah.
I told him, I said, man, I said the reason being is I got to be hard on you because you're going to grow to be a man. I
Yeah.
said I'm easier on London because I want her to see what it's like to experience a man and what how a man should treat you. I said I
Yeah.
can't I can't say what Keita said. I'm gonna text
Is
it
he
to
gonna
you.
ruin the sponsorship? We
Yeah,
can't get the check.
I'm gonna
Like,
text it to you though. But basically he was just like, man, if I'm not hard on you, you won't become a man. You
mhm.
know. So I had to break that down to my son, and to the point where he understood. He's like, "Oh, it makes sense now." You
Yeah.
know, So it's like we have to be able to have those conversations with our kid and explain to them because, like you said, they're young minds. They're figuring things out. They don't know everything, so their question is more so like, make it make sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
So when we can learn how to make it make sense to our kid, it gives our kids that ability to when they get older, they question stuff. Hey, nah, I don't think we should. Nah, that's not a good idea. Nah, I'm not about to do that. Like
Yeah.
it keeps them not saying it's gonna keep them away from peer pressure or keeps them from falling to peer pressure, but it sets up kind of like a standard to like, okay, y'all, like, y'all gotta be self-thinkers and think for y'all self. Y'all gotta be able to challenge people and don't let people challenge y'all and make y'all do stuff because they say so.
Right. Absolutely. Um. So let's talk about. We talked about parenting a little bit. Let's talk about relationships, right?
All
So,
right.
whatever you're willing to share, divulge. I'm not sure of your current relationship status. I know you mentioned going through a divorce.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just talk about this year relationships. What have you learned? And this could be from, I don't know, platonic, romantic, friendship, family,
Yeah.
whatever relationship
You know
means
what?
to you.
I can give you something from each level.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
One of the biggest things that I've learned about relationships is that don't chase anybody that don't want to, chase you.
Yeah.
And I ain't just talking about like romantic, like just family, friends. Like you don't have to be the person always trying to make stuff happen in relationships.
Ooh.
you know, you need to value yourself a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you always the person putting out and people don't never put in, you selling yourself short. So that was one of the first things that I learned in 2024. I wasn't about to go above and beyond for people anymore. And it sounds selfish, but like at the end of the day, like you got to be a little selfish.
Yeah.
I'm not about to go above and beyond for people. I'm still gonna be generous. I'm still gonna be nice to people, but I'm not. I no longer go out of my way to try to. Hey man, let's hang out. Hey, can we get together? Hey, can we do this? Hey,
Yeah.
what you doing tonight? Because at the end of the day, it's like, man, like you. Number one, you look stupid,
Yeah.
but like the people that want to be around you, those are the people that you should focus on. Family, friends, romantically, the people that want to be, those are the people that you should focus on. Now, when it comes to family, man, I would say that this year was a year of uh, restoration in my family. With me and my brother, in past times we kind of fell out, and this year, man, it almost like we ain't missed a beat. Like so, we talking every day, like we used to. You know what I'm saying? Spending hours on the phone just laughing or
Yeah.
talking about silly stuff or whatever. That's cool. With my parents, with my siblings, things are going well. My friendships are thriving. Even you and another thing that I learned is like, man, people got lives, you
Yeah.
know, and we can't say, oh man, they ain't reaching out or man, they acting funny. Like, nah, I've learned to say, you know what, maybe they dealing with something right now.
Something.
I'll
Yeah.
let them reach out when they ready to reach out. I'm not going to paint them as like, oh man, they weird or they acting funny or they don't like me or try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because we create a lot of anxieties and create narratives in our head when we
My
do that.
head.
And I said, I'm not doing that this year. Like, if they ain't talking to me right now, maybe they dealing with something. I'll let them deal with that. They'll reach out when they reach out. I'll hit them up every now and then. And if they respond, they respond. If not, they not. Now, romantically, one of the things I learned, the biggest thing that I learned this year is patience. Um, One of the things I realized about myself when it came to dealing romantically with people was that I was impatient. I was one of those ones that needed an answer right away.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
and
struggle.
I realized where that came from was just being in the situation or being in a relationship where I never felt wanted. Like I didn't feel like, a person like truly, appreciated me or truly wanted to be with me. So I needed that affirmation. Hey, are we good? Or hey, or what are we doing? Or this or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that was something that I had to learn to be patient and don't start trying to think of the worst case scenarios when things ain't going the way you thought it was gonna be. Just be patient, be chill. And man, it's been a beautiful thing, man. I would encourage anybody that's out there seeking a romantic relationship to like don't try to hop in the man, I like you, I like let's be together. Like really get to know people, spend some
Yeah.
time with them, build a friendship, build a foundation, because that's the most powerful thing that you can have. And once you do that, it opens the door for you to like be like, okay, if this is the person I really want to pursue, or this is the person I'm really into, I'm gonna really be into them, and ain't nothing gonna distract me from that person. That's kind of the space I'm in now, just focusing on building foundation and things like that, man. So 2024 definitely was a relational year, and I had to be intentional about it too. I
Yeah.
couldn't just wait for um, if I want to connect with somebody, I couldn't be like, all right, man, I connect if we cross paths. Like, now I have to reach out. Hey, like literally texting people that I want to connect to. Hey, something in me said I want to connect with you. If you want to connect, let's go out to lunch and have a conversation, and we can kick it and figure things out from there. Like, you got to be intentional, like romantically, friendship, family. If you want it, you have to go get it. And you have to
Yeah.
pursue it in the sense of like you have to initiate if that's something that you want. Now, after you initiate it, if it goes south, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Don't keep trying to make it work, but like you have to be intentional about your relationships.
No, 1,000%, man. And I'll touch on as best I can. I kind of touch on all three phases. I'll just kind of talk about like friends and stuff. Man, I'm the type of person, or I've been the person more recently who's been, man, I'm busy. I got life going on. Like I'm coaching, I'm doing stuff with kids, whatever the case may be. And because of that, man, I didn't really water the gardens of friendship, maybe like I could have been doing. And I had some great people, some great friends, just kind of sitting like right up under my nose, who I've not really connected with over the years. We've been cool. There's been no beef, no bad blood. Kind of like to what you say. Everyone's kind of given that grace of, hey, man, I know life is happening, whatever. But I've in this year, I've kind of found some value or some solace or some, I don't know what you want to call it, in kind of, man, dusting off some old friendships or some people I grew up with, and being able to reconnect with them, and just kind of be a part of their life journeys right now, whether it's weddings and different things they have going on, or even the value that I provide, professionally, business advice, right? Like, so just really, being in a space where I can reconnect with those people and water some of those relationships. And even, like man, some of these people, like I said, they kind of just been sitting under my nose. I'm like, man, bro, I should have been reached out to so and so, or yo, like, man, it's so and so's birthday. Let me just check in and give a genuine, happy birthday or call, or maybe I'll send them something. You know what I'm saying? So like, just doing a little bit more with those types of relationships. That, and then I'll just kind of say from a marriage perspective, man, I feel like this year one of the things that my wife and I, we've been trying to work more on. I'm not going to say trying, right? Because we are actively working on this, man. Is communication, bro. Like little things that maybe, or things I'm saying, maybe things a couple years ago that would have turned into an argument or a miscommunication, and we would have fell out of sync for 3-4 days, bro. Now it's 2-3 hours, or what I'm saying, or now it's 5-10 minutes in some cases, right? It's not even getting to be a thing because we can communicate. The maturity is there, the trust is there, to where, all right, let's address this disconnect or miscommunication right now. Ain't nobody got to go to bed mad tonight. Like, hey, okay, this is what I said. This is what I meant here. Okay, cool. This is what I was trying to convey. You know what? Hey, I apologize, right? And then not only just, hey, they say happy wife, happy life. It ain't just me apologizing. My wife apologizing too. You know what I'm saying? So it's that two-way street of really working on communication from a relationship standpoint. That's been a focus, and that's been a blessing, man. I'll also say, dude, from the business side of things, man, like I'm still working, and I guess this is part of the communication piece of it, from like a lesson learned, man, because like I want to help everybody, right? Like I have a heart to want to help everybody. Like it's just I don't know if it's something wrong with me. I need counseling and therapy because I want to help people who come to me, right? Like I want to be the hero. I want to win the game. Yo, it's 4 seconds left. We need somebody to hit a three. I'm gonna give me the ball every time. That's just kind of how I feel, right? But in that, there are some times where it's like, hey, man, what's being asked of you is not. It may not be possible, or it may not be it's not a cross for you to bear or to carry in this moment. You may need to have a hard conversation, something that you may not want to have with these people, but that's something that you may need to do instead, right? So from a communication standpoint, relationship standpoint, on the business sense of it, leaning into some of those harder conversations up front and not defaulting to the superhero cape that you got in the, oh man, I could just fix and save everything. Not everything is something that you can save or needs to be looked at in that lens. Sometimes it needs to be, hey, a hard conversation or a no of, or not right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I guess for me, I would say those are probably like the three facets, man, of like, communication in this year of what I've learned from friendship, relationship, and business ship. So
Yeah, man, it's been a good year for relationships for me, man. Yeah, man, I like I said, man, this year, just looking back on it, man, like I couldn't have wrote a better script.
yeah,
Like I like if you would have told me the crazy part, if you would have told me January 2024 that I would be that the relationships that I have in my life would be the way that they are right now, I wouldn't have believed you.
yeah,
I would have, it was a far fetched dream, you know, and for all my relationships in my life to be the way that they are right now, the strength that they have, the meaning that they have, the value that they have, man. Man, it's just been a great year, and you want to know what I attribute that to is really doing the self work,
okay,
um like really making sure that I was like I can't want good friends if I'm not a good friend.
absolutely,
I can't want to be a good I can't want good family members if I'm not a good I had to be a good person. So I had to deal with whatever areas in my life that I felt like, okay, you're not considerate in this area. Okay, you're a little bit selfish in this area. You like I have to look in the mirror, okay, what am I doing or what do I need to do in order for me to be a to show up in a better way for my friends, for my family, for the people that I'm, entertaining romantically or whatever. I said people like I'm like, what's the word?
yeah.
Polygamy?
For the
No, it ain't
people I'm
like that. The
entertaining, like,
person, the
yeah,
show up for the person that I'm involved with or whatever. Like, what do I need to do or whatever? And that, when I start doing that, all of my relationships just start falling in line. Another thing that helped with that was I had a pastor say that if you truly want to identify where a person is spiritually, look at their relationships.
mhm,
You know, if if their relationships are out of funk, they beefing with people. All of there's always a problem. There's always drama. They can't keep a relationship. 9 times out of 10, spiritually they out of sync. And so like I attribute a lot of like the health in my relationships to me just spending more time spiritually, getting myself together spiritually, spending more time with God, cutting out things that shouldn't be in my life, and just being real with myself. Having a community of guys. Number one, man, it's this
the
group of
Ford,
men that I shoot out a text to anytime I'm struggling in the area, and I say, hey, today I'm just on my mind, fellas. Hey, pray for me, and they hold me accountable, and it keeps me kind of, So that's really what I attributed to, like just getting closer to God and spending more time building my spirit man up. It has helped me build better relationships with people. Now I ain't saying I'm perfect, like I still be
right, right,
messing up, but it has helped a lot in all of my other relationships.
yeah, man, and I think that's an amazing part. Where you talked about support, I think support is key. Accountability, right? You know, having the right circle of people around you, man. I think that's so important. That's something else that I'm really leaning into this year. Is yeah, like bro, like-minded people, right? Like it's your network, all of that stuff. All of those things are truly important. And one thing that I did realize, man, is that uh, man, a lot of people aren't really on like what I'm on from a focus perspective, right? Like you kind of talked about man, I hope I don't lose my train of thought, but just being around the right people, right? Whether it's the support, having people who are into what you're into, that really that goes a long way, right? So I want to shift gears, man. I want to ask a question. I want to talk a little bit about um what are you excited for? We've been on 45 minutes. We're coming up towards almost an hour here. What are some of the things that you're excited about for 2025? What are you looking forward to? Maybe some things that you have planned. What are you kind of excited about, like for the new year?
Um, Let me see. What am I most excited about for 2025? Um, New opportunities. I feel like 2024 has set up like the dominoes for me to be like, okay, you got these opportunities coming up, you got to execute,
Yeah,
and I'm up for the challenge, right? Also, man, just more time with my kids, man. I switched careers because I wanted to spend more time with my kids, man. I wanted to go to their, sports games. I wanted to go to their school assemblies. I wanted to, when they off in the summer, I can be off with them. So I switched careers. So like, I'm looking forward to that, spending more time with them. Being a better father, being a like if I say we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to just getting healthier, man. Like I spent the last few months in the gym, slowly changing my diet, doing the right things. So I want to be healthy, want to be here for the long haul. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, being in love, that thing.
being in
I
love.
yeah, man, it's a good feeling. I I say this, man, and some people not some people take it the wrong way when I say it, but this year I realized that I truly have never been in love before.
Okay.
Even when I was married for the wrong reasons. It was more so of a self gratification thing or ego thing to affirm within myself that I was a good man, that I was a good person, or whatever. And it never truly was for love. And to be in a space where I have the opportunity to potentially experience love for the first time, man, is a beautiful thing. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to just how the joys of that,
Mhm.
and to let other people see what that looks like. And when I say other people, I'm talking about my
Your
kids.
kids,
Let
yeah.
them see what that looks like when somebody, does it the right way and pursues it the way in order for them to like just truly experience a gratifying joy and a gratifying love. So that and on a like a creative level, I got a few books that that I started written, some that I've already written that I'm going to be releasing this year. I got a children's book that I just got the artwork back from the illustrator, so I'm excited about that. I got a book. Last year I released a book called "I Hate My Wife." This year I'm releasing the follow up to that book called "I Love My Life." Working on that, man. So I'm excited about that, and just there's a lot of other opportunities that I can't like really share right now,
Mhm.
but this year is going to be a very good year for me if I do things the right way, if I make the right decisions, if I stay on course and don't do nothing stupid.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And I'll kind of build upon that a little bit as well. So I guess for me, man, what am I really looking forward to in 2025, man? Just continued growth, continued execution, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing, bro, just the effect of my compounding efforts over time, bro. Whether it's in business, whether it's corporately, family, as a father. Bro, I've been working for a while, bro, and I mean just bro, on a lot of different facets in life, bro, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the fruits of my labor, bro. Right, so that's what I'm excited to about in the new year. I'm excited to growing and expanding this mortgage business, right? Like that's a pillar that I've shifted to kind of focus in on more, like the real estate space. With my wife, my sister, they're in the industry as well. I'm in the industry as a mortgage broker, so man, I'm really looking to help more people accomplish their goals in real estate, whether it is acquiring, your first home, or an investment property, or what's up, man? You right? Um, you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to making that happen for people, being a part of people's journeys, right? Of course, increasing my income, being able to do that. Man, I've got some debt and some things I want to pay down. Dude, over the years, I've invested in so much stuff that didn't work out. So, man, I want to just to really level set, man. So I really want to level set in the new year. I definitely this year I took 2024. I took a year off. I don't think I didn't really do any seminars or classes or anything like that in 24. This was really a year of learning, right? I was learning a lot. I was trying and failing stuff behind the scenes. So in 2025, man, I want to bring some of the other lessons that I've learned to the forefront to help more people, right? So looking forward to doing that. Man, I'm trying to think what else. But yeah, I think that's probably, yeah, I would say like the biggest thing, and just really looking forward to seeing the fruits of the labor of the work that I've done. Um, I want to show up more, I want to help more people, want to kind of get back to my roots with regard to the content, my classes and things like that. I want to show, and I feel like I say this almost I want to show a little bit more of myself every year, right? I think we talk about this, Tommy, about the perception of, yo, man, hey, JT, that's the serious business guy, the family man. Like those are cool things, right? But man, like I like to have a sense of humor, right? Like I can be, silly at times as well, right? Like there's a lot of different hats or sides of me, and I want to bring all those things to the forefront to help me accomplish, my goals. Man, I want to have more impact in the world, bro. Like I just and this is, I don't look at me as just, oh, I'm not just Northwest Indiana, Chicago land area. 219. No, I'm worldwide. I'm global, right? Like I want to reach, more people. So, yeah, those are all things that I'm looking forward to, accomplishing in 2025 and beyond, man. So,
Yeah, Matt. The one of the things that you said that at least sticks out to me the most is just that, you know showing up as ourselves more.
yeah,
It's so easy to get caught up in like, okay, this is the way that they do it, this is the way that I need to do it,
right,
versus this is who I am and this is how I'm going to present it. Um, who we are, like our personality, our quirks, like they aren't just accidental like things.
right,
If we want to look at it from the perspective of like impact on the world, there are people who need all of us of who we are in order to impact them, in order to lead them to a certain place or whatever. So if I only show up as like this serious dude, they're
yeah,
going to miss like that relativity to them, or a connecting to them. It won't connect because like that's not who they like. We have to show up as ourselves, and I've been very intentional as of late. Like just I tried to lay back from being the funny guy. I tried to lay back even from music, like trying to avoid, like, and just be like this motivational speaker and this.
yeah,
I'm like, yo, like I'm that, but that's not all who I am. You
yeah,
know, like, and I have to show that in every place that I show up, and I'm learning. And like you said, life is you're always gonna be learning.
yeah,
There's always gonna be adjustments. And every year, like last year, I said, man, I show up as myself in every place that I enter. I realized that I learned a little bit more about myself this year that I wasn't showing up at. So now I got to show up as myself even more. So
man,
it's
yeah,
like, man, when we show up as ourselves, man, it's the most freeing thing because now you're not wearing any masks. You don't have to worry about, okay, what people gonna think or this. You just like, this is me. My people who are my tribe, they will accept me for who I am, and those are the people that I need to focus on. So
yeah,
for me, I'm funny. Sometimes I can be a little edgy. Some would say controversial. I
Yeah.
just say like I just say the hard truths. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm just straightforward. I don't like and I love everybody. So I have to incorporate that in everything that I do. I can't just be the like even when it comes to like religious stuff, bro. I was thinking about this the other day, how hard I tried to pivot away from church. And not
Yeah.
like I wanted to be a sinner, but like I didn't want to be pigeonholed into, oh, that's another preacher.
Yeah.
That's another one of those Christian guys. Cause I got brothers as pastors and stuff, which is crazy to me. And I look at them, I'm like, man, bro, that's not who you really is. Like and
Yeah.
not like they sinners or anything like that, but like
Yeah.
I know you, bro. Like that's not who you are. And I'm like, I never want to be that. So like I would purposely be a little bit edgy just so I wouldn't get that rap of like, oh man, here go that other Christian dude or whatever. But now I'm like, yo, like this edginess, like this unfilteredness is part of my like spiritual thing. And like I think it was I forgot the name of this pastor. One time he prophesied to me. He said this. He said, "You are the voice of the people that don't know they love God yet." And I
Hey.
think about all the people that like have either reached out to me in the past year or have like asked me questions. These are like atheists, people who don't go to church, people who don't believe.
Yeah.
They watch me and they see how I move. Like, hey man, tell me more about that. Hey, what? Hey, I saw this. What does this mean? Like, those are the people that I'm drawn to. And if I try to fit into this box to only cater to people in church, I'm gonna miss out on the entire people that I've been called to like impact or whatever. So like I've learned to like be you 100% of
Yeah.
the time. Everybody ain't gonna accept it, and that's okay.
Hey,
You gotta be
absolutely.
okay with that. Everybody ain't gonna like it.
Absolutely.
People gonna have opinions about it. You gotta be
Absolutely.
okay with that. And
And
and that's the place that I'm at now. Like just living in who I am freely and not worried about getting canceled or
right.
getting cut from gigs and not being invited. Hey, if they don't invite me, they don't invite me. That don't change nothing in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
And I like that too, man. And I think one of the things that definitely leaning more into is like you say, the individuality piece, man, and of who you are. And if who I am repels you, then you weren't meant to be around me in the first place. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's really, it is what it is, man. But nah, bro. So as we wind down here, what we're coming up, we have 57 minutes. I got JJ here. He's getting antsy, bro. I'm about to take him upstairs, man. Any closing remarks, man? I guess I'll leave. Can I get my closing remarks out? Yeah. Okay. So for closing remarks, man, I just want to say, um, man, really lean into to who you are, um, and um, live without, I guess, any type of regret, right? So, um, from the standpoint of there's so much stuff going on like around on we're in this era, that this age of social media, right, and smoke and mirrors, and nobody truly knows what's real anymore. And I guess one thing that I will say is lean into who you are and run your own race, right? Like forget what the next person is doing, forget what else is going on around you. One of the things that I've also learned this year is about like what true wealth and richness looks like, man. Like to be able to wake up every day. I got health, I got my family. I can, for the most part, I could pretty much go and grab and do, anything that I want. Like that's the wealth, that's the richness for me. Yes, I have goals. I want to earn a certain dollar amount. I want to do some of these other things. But even right now, like, man, I've been blessed tremendously with currently where I am. And so this is my race. This is what it looks like. And I'm thankful for it. And I encourage other people to find a level of just gratitude, solace, and peace and where they are in terms of moving forward and progressing in life. So I guess those are my closing remarks.
My closing remarks: stop trying to seek closure. Let people leave how they gonna leave. You ain't got to try to piece together what you did, what went wrong. If people exit your life, let them exit. Free yourself from it. That don't mean vilify those people. That just means free yourself from it and say, you know what? They gone. I just got to move with what I got in my life, man, and enjoy and live in the moment. It's so easy to plan for the future and be like, okay, man, if I do X, Y, and Z, and this whole time while you planning, you missing out on what's happening currently in your life. It's like going on a road trip and you only focus on the destination. You forget the sightseeing. You don't see the beautiful stuff on your way there. So I would encourage people, man, learn to live in the moment. Stop living in the past. Let the past go. Don't be so into the future, man. Learn to be present. Learn to sit with yourself. Learn to just enjoy right now. And I promise you, your 2025 will be way better than your 2024.
Love it, bro. Love it, man. Well, until 2026, or until
Right.
the end of the year, man. We're gonna recap. We're gonna do this again. Thank you guys. Anybody who was tuned in and who've got something from this conversation or our insights and our reflections. We hope this has been a blessing to anybody who's tuned in, and we hope that this helps you put yourself in position to have a strong 2024. I mean 2025, right? Yeah. So and beyond. So with that being said, man, it's your boy JT, the corporatepreneur.
Tommy, holla at y'all.
Yep. All right. Signing off.
All right.